and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Groomer Chat with me, Tanya. And this evening, I'm really excited and happy to introduce to you one of my favourite people, Joanne Angus. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you for the lovely introduction.
You're very welcome. I mean every word, because you're good, gorgeous. So are you recovered from this weekend?
Yes, yeah. This weekend I was judging at the wonderful Style to Rescue show, the charity show organised by Yitka, Chris Over, raising money for the rescue charities, and I was very pleased and honoured to be judging there. So it was lovely, really, really lovely day. Some fantastic grooming, doing what groomers do best, looking after dogs. That's what
it is a fantastic show, isn't it? I remember when I was there 2 years ago, which was the last one that was held. Obviously, we'll ignore COVID. It's just where we're now. And I had a little dog that was wearing a nappy.
Yeah, well, there was a few like that. Yeah, I mean, some of the stories. I mean, one of them. I mean, it's just horrific. It's just horrific. One of them's waiting for surgery. She'd been abused. I mean, it's like, really, yeah. You know, it's just awful, so sad. But you know, we actually placed one of the ones that was in Wales, and the girl that was, I can't remember the lady's name that was grooming her, but she was so caring and kind, and all the groomers were. And you know, it's just lovely to see that, you know, there's no hidden agenda at that show. It's just people grooming dogs because they love grooming dogs.
It brings out the best of our industry, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And boy, does our industry need it sometimes.
Yeah. We'll say no more.
yeah, but yeah, no, it's just a fabulous day. Just a fabulous day. It's lovely day. So
excellent.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to speaking to Yitka about it. I've got her scheduled for an extra Groomer Chat, just to find out how it all went and how much money she raised and where the money's going.
She raised a lot of money. Yeah.
Excellent.
Amazing. Yeah. And every penny goes back to the charities. You know, she doesn't, everything goes back to the charities. So
no, she takes nothing, which is just incredible.
It is.
Especially when you think of the amount of work that goes into creating a show.
Putting on a show like that, as you know, as you've been running the challenge for the last however many years.
16
years. It's a long time, and it's a shame that it's coming to an end, but I'm delighted and honoured to be one of your final judges.
We are proud to have you there.
It's lovely. I remember judging it a while ago, and you know, it's lovely because it's really good to see people developing the trade and developing the skills, and you know, moving on and using that as a stepping stone to venture into further competition, and you know, to be able to develop and move on with that, and eventually putting my groom team coordinator's hat on. Hopefully, you know, building the gene pool of really excellent groomers, so we've got more selection for groom team in future years, which is where we'd like to go with it. So
speaking of Groom Team England, how long have you been doing that now?
Oh, a long time. Well, we started it in 2007. Was the first time that we started it, and there was me, Pete and Becky Ensel, who are fellow judges, I believe, at the challenge.
Indeed, they are. We'll be speaking to them soon as well.
Yeah, and Zoe Duffy and Alison Rogers, and we started it way back in 2007, and then we ran it then for 10 years or so, and then had a couple of years break, and then we took over again the running of it earlier it'll have been last year now, won't it? I forget, we've moved on a year. The last couple of years seem to have gone into such a...
They have. We've lost a year.
Yeah, we've all kind of lost this track of time, and it's like, I don't know whether it was this year.
Constantly doing that.
Yeah, it's really bizarre, isn't it? But in general, for, you know, since 2007, with a couple of years off, but so that's where we're at with that at the moment. We've got the World Championships coming up in September this year.
Ooh. So where's that being held?
It's been held within Groomania in Belgium.
Right.
Nice and easy for people to just hop over the channel. and get there. It's a fabulous show. Groom Mania is a must-do show if you're into competing. It's a fantastic show. It's one of the best organised ones in Europe, and it's massive. And it's just a really good show on its own, but then adding the World Championships into it as well. It's been held there before, but it's really good. It's really good, yeah. So lots of English support.
They often share it live as well, don't they? So that you can watch it at home, because I've watched it before at home.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, the World Championships, it was the last time we were there, it was almost like a football match, you know, everybody's there with the rattles and the whistles and the flags waving, and just really great atmosphere. So the more people we can get supporting, that will be amazing.
So I remember seeing you guys in the audience with the England flag painted on your cheeks.
And your friend of mine, Louisa Tandy, she'll kill me, but in her England onesie, she came.
I remember that.
So but that's what we want. Yeah, but it's a, you know, we're there to support the country and there to support the groomers that are, you know, representing us. So yeah, it's a great show.
And previously we've done very well, haven't we?
We've done very, very well. Yeah. The last World Championships, which were 2017, I think.
Right.
Yeah, because they should have been scheduled in 2019, but it was moved because they needed to change venue, so it was going to be 2020.
Right, and we all know what happened then.
Yeah, and then of course it couldn't happen last year either. So yeah, it's 2017 since the last one, and we were placed 4th, and I think there was about 22 countries that competed last time. So yeah, I mean, we've got an outstanding team of groomers as well, absolutely outstanding.
So who's on the squad this year? I've seen some names shared.
We have Amy Manser, we have Cheryl Howard, we have Denise Westbrook, Julie Lalu, Costin Stoiker, and Kirsty Young.
Nice, so it's a good lineup.
Yeah, we've got a great lineup. Yeah. So we'll be taking the team over and hopefully bringing back some nice trophies and medals. So
that would be good.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. Yeah.
And now, do you use Premier Groom to raise funds for that?
No, not now. Right. It was when Premier Groom first started. That's the show that we run. It was started the Groom Team England event. When we did that, and then when I stopped running Groom Team for those couple of years, we took Premier Groom and said, no, that's actually my show now, in conjunction with Red Cape. So that's Summit Groomer Training Group, which is one of my businesses. It's run by that in conjunction with Red Cape. So yeah. But no, we rely for Groom Team. We rely on sponsorship, and we've got Simpsons have very, very generously sponsored us, and I believe they've sponsored you as well. They're fantastic.
Yes, they are our Best in Show sponsors.
Yeah, so they're great with the sponsorship. So they've very kindly given a nice chunk to Groom Team England.
Good.
Which is great. And we're supposed to be getting some workshops from Artero as well, which is still sort of in production at the moment. So yeah, so we're getting there.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to fly the flag again.
Yeah, well, but of course the issue as well is competing abroad now. Of course, we've lost the easiness of the travel, haven't we?
Especially with dogs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, with the dogs, we've lost the what was it, pet passport scheme, haven't we?
So how are you getting around that?
You can ask Becky Ensel that question, because that's her department.
I shall.
Yeah, that's going to be Becky's department, making sure that everybody's got the dogs passported and ready to go. Yeah. So
that's not cheap either.
No. Well, it's not cheap to send the team over, really, because we want them to have the best and be able to get there and travel well, and and
the equipment, the clothing, the transport, accommodation, everything. It adds up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Rather you than me.
Yeah, it's but it's it was something that we set up and we wanted to continue it running, and we've done quite well with it so far. But it's something that we do voluntary. The committee working voluntary, so it does sometimes not get the effort that it should have. I'll be the first to admit that, but we've all got businesses and home lives to run as well. So
yeah.
you know, it's hard, isn't it, doing things voluntary, which,
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
anyway. Yeah. So, but we get there.
There are only 24 hours in the day.
Exactly. Because what dogs have you got now? I've lost track.
Amber, the standard poodle, Luna and Tori, the chihuahuas.
Yeah. Just a few. Yeah.
Not as many as I've had in the past, but enough.
Yeah, enough. Yeah.
So what have you got now?
I've just got 2 Poochons now. That's all I've got at the moment.
Because you used to breed the Poochons, didn't you?
Yeah, but I've not bred them for a while now. Well, my oldest one, she'll be 8 this year, and the youngest one's just gone 5. So if she was going to have a litter, she should have had a litter before now, and I've just not got around to it. So, but my old standard poodle that I had, she died last year, so that was the last of my standards. But I'm hoping to get another standard at some point this year, hopefully. So. And maybe dip my toe.
Starting again with the puppy though, isn't it?
I know. And maybe dip my toes back in the show world, maybe. Now the kids are older. Might have a bit more
brave.
time. Yeah. But do you know what it is though? It's the cost of it rather than anything else.
Now it's ridiculous.
Yeah. You know, the cost of
everything.
Yeah. It's just crazy. So, you know,
yeah, if anything happened to mine, I don't think I could start again with the puppy.
No, it's
the cost of them to buy, and then all the veterinary costs and everything else. I don't know how people afford it now.
No, it's a lot of money. Yeah.
And we're not even including grooming costs, because we can do that.
Oh no. No, thank God. Yeah, do you know what I mean? My dogs don't get done anywhere near as often as they should anyway.
Mine either.
Typical groomers' dogs, but God, if I had to take them to the groomer every 4 to 6 weeks, good grief. I don't know how people afford it.
No, my Amber's lucky if she's done all in one go.
Yeah, well, mine are always in peculiar bits and pieces.
Oh, don't look at that bit. I haven't done that bit yet. 3 days later, I still haven't done that bit. We'll get there.
I know. I shamefully took mine with me this last weekend to the rescue show, and I'm thinking, God, people will be looking at them too, thinking, which rescue place are they from?
You should put them into the hats and say, groom these ones for me.
Yeah, groom these, please.
Anyone need a dog? Here you go.
Yeah, there you go. There's mine, scruffy pair. It's typical groomers' dogs, isn't it?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Always. The last to be done in the snatch times in between our appointments.
Always.
But at least we have the skills to do what we can when we can.
Exactly.
And if we muck up, we can fudge it and say, oh no, I meant to do that.
Yeah.
A bit shorter this time, so it lasts.
Well, it's not too. It's sort of a little bit more handy for me in some respects, because we have the students as well. So if we, it's like if we're short of a dog for the show, oh, there's my dog. Just do a bit of some. Oh, I can't do it. They're always more worried, and it's like, you don't have to be worried about doing my dogs. It really doesn't matter if you go wrong on my dogs,
Yeah.
But a bit, oh, it's your dog. I'm not sure I can do that. It's like, it's fine. Just do
but
it.
I imagine you're going to go home and notice every little detail.
Yeah. It don't matter. It's only hair at the end of the day. It grows. Yeah. But I have to say, I think I would be a pain in the ass customer if I had to take my dog. I'm sure I would. I'm quite particular. It's like, don't take your head too short. Don't do this, do that. Don't do the other.
The type that we're going with a diagram.
Yeah. They're the best. They are the best.
Or, of course, you could always take one of your books in and say, right, this book.
I could. Yeah, I could.
Have you got this book? It's the grooming manual for the cat and dog. If you can't, I can loan it to you, but this is what I want my dog to look like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You've got the diagrams in there if you need.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. So, and the latest one, obviously, what every professional groomer should know. That's the.
Now that one I haven't seen yet.
You haven't seen?
I haven't seen the inside yet. Well, I've obviously got the grooming manual for the dog and cat, but I haven't got what every professional groomer should know, which is the one with the red band at the top, isn't it? And then a little dog in the bath.
Welsh Terrier in the bath. That's the one. Yeah. So we released that. When was that? Not last year, the year before, I think. And yeah, it's got some really good reviews. I'm really delighted that people love it.
Good.
We put a lot of work and effort into it, and you know, there is a lot of information in it, obviously it's aimed more at somebody that's starting out in grooming, but it's there as, you know, it's good to have in the salon. You know, if you have got, like, you know, an apprentice or a young person working with you, or, you know, somebody coming new into grooming, it's handy to have there. And if you like me, I just like books anyway. I like buying books,
as you can tell.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got the Zoom library, haven't you? Yeah.
I did deliberately set this up thinking
I've got my
Highland
cow. You see my Highland cow picture behind me?
Oh,
Highland cow picture.
I want to groom it though.
No.
I want to stick a bow in it.
Yeah. But yeah, books are good. Books are good, aren't they?
Books are amazing.
Yeah, I like books. So
you can't replace a good book.
No, I don't think you can.
So did you first start writing your books? We're going back a long way now to the start of the Sitting Guilds qualifications, and you were involved in that right at the start, weren't you?
Not right at the very start, because that is going back to...
Or was that Diana?
That was Diana. Who I used to work with, and she owned the business prior to me. The Sitting Guilds exam first started back in, really showing my age now, 1987 was the first Sitting Guilds grooming exams, and I did mine in 1988.
And now when you think about it, there are groomers doing that now who weren't born then.
Exactly.
That's depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, but the worst thing is when somebody comes along to register for the qualification and they were born in 2001, you know, or even 2004.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're still
the wrong
in
century.
It's like, it's just no.
It's depressing.
So, yeah, 1987 Sitting Guilds first came out, and I did mine in 88. So that's how long I've been involved in grooming. Yeah. You're
just getting old now.
That's time I hold my scissors up, really.
Never. I can't see you doing that.
No, I can't either. I mean, I don't really groom much daily. You know, I don't really do much day-to-day grooming anymore. I do a lot more office work because obviously my business has expanded in a different way. You know, we're very heavily involved in education and delivering of qualifications. So
you were my examiner when I did my Westie exam.
Yeah, I was.
A few years ago now.
Yeah, that's a few years ago. So yeah, it's nice though when you see people that say, oh, you were my examiner back in so and so, and they're still in the industry now, which is really nice. Because I do think we do have a massive turnover of groomers that come in and out of the industry, you know. A lot of them that have sort of started probably the last 10 years or so, and certainly not in it anymore, you know. There's not a lot of people that stick with it, you know. You can sort of tell when people are going to stick with it or not.
It's a lot harder physically than many people would ever imagine, and it takes a toll on you.
Much harder. It does. Yeah, it's much, and I think working alone is very hard. I wouldn't want to. Yeah, I do think it's a hard job to do, and of course, a lot of people that come into the industry are you know, people that have been stay-at-home mums and they want to get back into a career, or they want a career that fits around the school hours, or they've had a job for 20 years and decide on a career change. And then when they come into it, they actually realize the physical side of it, and you know, it's hard work.
Especially those first few years.
Yeah.
I think it takes you quite a number of years to get into a decent rhythm and a flow. And your body to get used to it and build the muscles where it should do. Yeah. And to get a good client base as well, you know, because of course, when you first start out in grooming, you know, you get all the rubbish that you know, that goes around. The groomer hoppers, that's the ones, you know. All the matted dogs that haven't been to anywhere for a year, you get all of those.
Yeah, all those, yeah. So it's hard work.
Starting out is hard.
Really hard, yeah.
Gets easier as you go along.
Yeah, it does, but I think that's where it's really important for people that are starting out to get themselves out to events, you know, and especially if they're working on their own. I was just talking to some of our students today, actually, and, you know, telling them about the events that are going on, and they said, oh, that sounds really good. I said, yeah, because it's networking with people as well. And nobody understands a groomer like another groomer. Yeah. You know, it's quite a unique sort of, I don't know, we're quite a unique breed of person, I think. And it's certainly a unique industry. And nobody understands it like another groomer does. So
no. There's so many different facets to it as well. It's not just the dogs that we're caring for on a daily basis, very intimately. Yeah, but it's also the client side, so client facing, customer care, the advertising and the business, financial management, and all of these different facets are all integrated. Yeah. Because
that's what drives me mad when people say, oh, I want to be a dog groomer because I don't like working with people.
Yeah, well, then you'll be a rubbish dog groomer.
Yeah, you know, we're a customer service industry, aren't we? You know, so if you don't like working with people, don't become a dog groomer, because that's your base. You know, if you can't
who pay you.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't offer a good customer service, you ain't going to get any customers. So, you know, it doesn't matter how good a groomer you are. If you're not good with your customers, they're not going to stay.
And I think that's where a lot of people fail. If they do fail, it's not so much their grooming ability, because, well, I've known some groomers whose abilities aren't that great, but they've still managed to keep a successful business because their customer service is lovely.
Exactly. And
people like them.
I don't know about you, but you build up some lovely relationships, don't you?
Oh, don't you just, over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I've got customers that have been coming to me ever since, you know, 1988, you know, and they're on the third or fourth dog.
Yeah, and you get their kids coming along with their dogs.
Yeah, and they've been loyal customers all that time, and it's lovely. It makes you think,
it's amazing.
Yeah, we're doing something right. Yeah, so it's great.
You go through the highs and lows with them. Yeah, personal lives and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I do sometimes think that we can be therapists as well.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, with some clients, you've got to set aside an extra 15 minutes just because they're going to want to chat.
Yeah, they do. It's quite, I mean, some of them are quite funny, aren't they? They really are. But, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, we're a customer service industry, so you've got to put the time and effort in. You've got to do that. Otherwise you won't have a business. Simple as.
It's not always easy.
No, far from it.
We're not always in a brilliant mood.
No, it's not all sunshine.
Impossible.
No, it's not all sunshine and roses every day. That's for sure. But yeah. But, you know, when you get somebody that really appreciates what you do, you know, then it's worthwhile.
It makes so much difference.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I find, maybe I'm just old-fashioned, I don't know, but I find sometimes that the culture of some of the newer groomers of, oh, well, you know, I tell my customer this, and if they don't like it, I do that, and and I think, I think you're just a bit rude sometimes, you know. I think some people just get
I wonder if they are actually that forthright, or whether they just think they are.
True. Yeah, it does make you wonder.
Yeah, because quite often it's the, I coulda, woulda, coulda, should said this, but you didn't. Yeah. And now, speaking of going back to new groomers, you launched the apprenticeship scheme.
Well, yes, now there's a tale.
Which I find really exciting.
It is. It's what the industry needs. And
so badly.
You know, I've been working desperately to try and get more involved with the apprenticeship. It started off, probably 4 years ago. Maybe it's taken us this long to get it through.
Yeah.
The people that run the apprenticeships, it's called IFATE. It's that's the government body that run the apprenticeships. And we had such a tussle with them to get the grooming actually accepted in the manner that they wanted it in. And it went backwards and forwards. They wouldn't accept. We wanted it at level 2. We wanted it as a groomer's assistant role, and they said, no, that's not a complete job role. It's like, yeah, it is. Who knows the industry, you or us, sort of thing. And yeah, it was a trailblazer. They call them a trailblazer group. So it was people from different parts of the grooming industry. So it was like corporate, individuals, you know, small salons, large salons, different people from the industry. Ended up being a sort of a small group of about 4 or 5 of us in the end that sort of saw it the whole way through.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of work. And I have to give kudos to Michelle Fielder from Pets at Home, who was the chairperson of the group, and Vicky Skinner from Pet Industry Federation, who they were the 2 main players that sort of pushed it, and we managed to get it through there in the end up and get it accepted. So it's out there, level 2, groomer's assistant.
How's it going?
It's, as far as I know, it's going well. I was really wanting to get in as a training provider, which is when you take an apprentice on, they have to go through a training provider who deals with all the setting up of the apprentice scheme and all the funding and everything else. And then that training provider then makes sure that the apprentice is getting the right training, the right off-the-job training, etc., etc. And that's where I want to get into. But trying to get through the government blooming network of application forms and the rest of it is just such a nightmare. So at the moment, I think there's only about 6 training providers that can actually provide it.
Right.
None of which are industry specific. So they're all colleges or training provider companies. So we've got the nearest one that we've got to anything like is a company called Light Limited. And then the other one is NEAT, which is a Northern Education Training. Those 2 do have groomers actually working on the programme. And then the other training providers are colleges, so which are not necessarily groomer based. But that's how it is at the moment, because it's trying to get through the government protocol and procedure to actually get on accepted as a training provider. So once the trainee is on and signed up and everything, they're with you for 12 months. 12-month apprenticeship. Then they go through an assessment process at the end of that. And there's different endpoint assessment organisations. I'm working with a company called VetSkill. And myself and Kath Clark, who people may know, she's the main quality assurer for City and Guilds qualifications. So lots of people know Kath. And Pam Rowley, she's also an experienced groomer, and she also works with City and Guilds, and she's a scribe at City and Guilds as well. So the 3 of us are working with VetSkill, and we've worked on the assessment programme that will be going out for the apprenticeships, when I can get my words out.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. So we've been working on that. So we'll be the assessors for people that apply for the assessments through VetSkill. So we've been working on that, and we're piloting that next month. We've done all the work so far, piloting that, and then it'll be ready to go for September, because there won't be anybody ready for assessments till at least September, because it didn't launch till last September. So at the moment, my role within the apprenticeship, it will be as a lead endpoint assessor, so with VetSkill. But yeah, we've been working. So, you know, if I'm doing a bit of selling here, but if anybody's got an apprentice out there and they're looking for an endpoint assessment organisation, I would highly recommend that you come to VetSkill, because it's been written, the assessment programme. Yes, it's got to fit the standards, but it's groomers that have done it. So we know what we're looking for. Whereas if you go to another endpoint assessment organisation, they may not have groomers on board or whatever to get the details. So, but it's an extensive programme. And at the end of that, the apprentice has 3 assessment processes they've got to go through. So they have a knowledge test, multiple choice knowledge test. They have an interview with a portfolio. So they have to make a portfolio, and then they get interviewed.
So taking photos and things like that. Same as another apprenticeship scheme. Yeah.
And then a practical observation as well. So there's 3.
So what does the practical observation involve? Is that styling a dog, or is it bathing?
Yeah, bathing and drying. So prepping your dog, bathing and drying your dog, and then a little bit of trimming. So it's either just a bit of a tidy up, so something like, I don't know, a collie or something like that. Or if it's a dog that comes in between for baths and you're just doing its feet and fringe, something like that. Or if they're a bit more sort of capable, then they can go for a higher sort of grade and actually use a clipper and sort of clip the body and down the legs and things. So if you've got something that's done on a comb attachment, they could do that all over. But the idea of it was that they could sort of more or less complete the dog, and you know, be able to then pass it on to the stylist just to sort of flick around and but then to be able to do a complete clip off. So if they were going to do a body clipping, they need to do the body and the legs clipping. So, or they can just do the tidying up just with a bit of tidying around the feet and feathers or something like that. So, and then obviously cleaning is involved in that as well, in the practical observation. So, and it's 2.5 hours, which, you know, it's realistic time, you know, to bath dry and do some clipping or styling, clipping or trimming on a dog. So yeah.
So it shouldn't be terribly stressful.
No.
And absolutely doable at the end of 12 months.
Yeah, totally. And then they get some questions as well asked, you know, sort of afterwards. And then the interview again, it's not there to be pressured. It's just to sort of check the knowledge of things that we might not have seen on the practical observation. So for instance, if they've done a wool mixed coat, we might question them about a silk coat or a wire coat instead, or, you know, how to recognize good signs of good health, or, you know, what parasites there might be, things like that. So so it's very good. It's very thorough, very, very thorough. So
and what qualification do they get at the end of that?
They get the level 2 apprenticeship qualification.
Is that City and Guilds?
No.
Or is it a separate thing entirely?
It's a separate thing entirely. It's a level 2 apprenticeship, so it's certified by IFATE. So it's level 2 apprenticeship. Yeah. So
it's a brand new qualification, basically. Then.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's really good. Yeah,
it's very much needed, because up till now, I mean, the apprentices that I've had, it has been sort of animal welfare.
Yeah.
Or we've even customer service.
Yeah, we've not had an industry specific one, have we? So no, and it's what's needed. And, you know, to be able to get young people into the industry, that's what we need, because, you know, there's not many 16-year-olds that can afford the luxury of paying for private training.
No.
You know, there's not a lot of colleges that actually do a grooming course. So I think it's a great idea to get, so hopefully it will, you know, once we start getting them through on the assessments after this first 12 months, then people will start to realize, oh yeah, this is good, you know, and it'll start to build from there. So that's hopefully what will happen. Yeah. So
yeah. I'm a very firm believer in the whole apprentice thing.
Yeah, I think it's
a way to start.
It is. I think it's. I mean, way back in the day, that's how we all used to. It's a bit like, again, showing my age again here, but it's like the old YTS scheme. If anybody remembers the old YTS scheme, you know, that's what that was basically. Like, but you know, we had some excellent people come through that. Zoe came through that. You know, Zoe Duffy who works with me. She came through the YTS scheme. Jo Botwood, who was a groom team member, and she's still, you know, she's a groom team committee member now. She came through the YTS scheme. You know, a lot of people came through that scheme and are still grooming now. So it shows
the benefit of starting that young.
Yeah.
You've got the energy, and you don't necessarily have bills to pay. So the apprenticeship wage that you get is small.
It is.
But it's better than paying for training. And it's over a much longer time, so you get much more experience.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I wholeheartedly approve. I think it's fantastic.
I think it is. I think it's really great. So I'm looking forward to getting out on the road when we get some assessments and seeing how that goes. Yeah.
See how this first year has gone.
Yeah. And then
we'll have to get you back on here at the end of it.
Yeah.
Give us an update. Let us know how it's gone.
And hopefully, you know, eventually what I would like to do is to be able to be a training provider. But I'm still working on that at the moment. Trying to get involved with that. So
well, the first stepping stone is in place, isn't it? Getting the apprenticeship scheme up and running in the first place is massive.
Exactly. And we nearly gave in. The Trailblazer group, believe me, we nearly gave in because it was such a nightmare to get it through. It really was hard work. really was, you know.
Does that though mean that it's more for being that much harder?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah.
So we've got you judging.
Yes.
On the 5th of June, because we keep saying the date over and over again. 5th of June, Kennel Club building.
5th of June.
And you are the what are we calling it? Is it advanced? I should know.
Yes,
I'm the bleeding
so
thing.
aren't I? Yeah.
I've written so many things over the last.
That's the most experienced groomers in the book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that will be good. That will be nice.
So what do you look for when you're judging?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I know, that's why I asked.
It depends really on what level you're judging. I think in all honesty. So for instance, you would judge a champion class much harder than you would judge a beginner class. You know, you make allowances obviously for the person's capabilities within that class.
Give me 1 second, because my cat is sitting on one of my dog's heads, and that's why you can hear growling.
Funny.
He doesn't take no for an answer.
No, look at him. Funny thing.
You know, they say owners look like their pets. Just very grumpy.
No, you don't. Oh, no, you do that maybe. Yeah, maybe when you can. Yeah. Oh, he's lovely. Look at his face.
No grooming required.
No, nice and easy.
Yeah. So sorry, I interrupted you. As you were saying,
so judging. I mean, I think one of the main things for me is how the person works with the dog. That's, you know, a priority. Handling, professionalism. I can't bear overhandling. I don't like people putting on a performance. You know, if you're grooming a dog, you're doing, it's professional. You know, you've got method and routine, and you stick to that. You know, kindness obviously goes without question. But you know, you're working on the dog, and the dog's on the table for a reason. It's being groomed. So professionalism and handling for me. Balance and shape for me are over finish. I always, you know, you can have a beautifully scissored finished dog, but its shape can be awful. You know, so for me, I like to see the enhancement of the dog's shape. If you've got a dog that's not shaped great, you know, if it's not got great bone structure, then how are you going to disguise that? How are you going to sort of justify why why have you put your leg in that position or not in that position? Do you know what I mean? So for me, balance and shape and symmetry is much more important than the overall finish. Obviously, you know, if you've got two dogs that are shaped and balanced really well, and one's got a superb scissor finish over the other, then, you know, that's where it's going to come down to. But balance and symmetry and shape for me are the more important things, definitely.
Foundation and structure over frills. And
and actually making sure that dog, if you're doing a hand restriction out so that it looks like a hand restriction, you know, you've got the breed profile right. Obviously, when it comes to crossbreeds and, you know, breeds that you know, for instance, if you're doing a Lhasa or something in a scissor trim, then it's an open book, isn't it? It's an interpretation. But things that I don't like, I can't bear to see groomers that don't have a hand on the dog. I like.
I'm with you on that one.
I like to see somebody with a hand on the dog, and that's really the most important thing. Preparation is an absolute must as well. Get the prep work right. You know, you can't, what's that saying? I've forgotten the saying. But anyway, you know, you can't silk purse, sow's ear.
You can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear.
That's the one. So prep is the most important thing.
And as a competitor, it's really, really scary, isn't it? When you think you've prepped your dog, you've gone all over it. And I promise you, every time there's always been something that the judges picked up on when they go over the prep first. I think, how did I miss that? How did I miss that? That wasn't there 10 minutes ago.
I know. Yeah. And don't give yourself too much work to do. You know,
I've always been terrible at that.
There's a fine line between having enough work to show that you know what you're doing and you can make a difference to the dog, but having too much work, and then you can't, you know, if you take a poodle, for instance, that's got 12 weeks growth on it, you're not going to get a scissor finish on it. With the best will in the world, you're not going to get a really good scissor finish on it, because you would need
unless
to
you're someone like Sue Eldweaver,
well,
who could go in with a coat that big and come out with.
Yeah, and Fee Brooks very good at doing that as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there are some people that can do it, but generally, you know, if you don't take too much hair, because you give yourself too much work to do, you know, and that you've got to think that you've only got that 2 hours or 2.5 hours, which might sound a long time when you think, oh, in the salon I can spin that out in half an hour, but when you're trying to do
it's very different.
You're trying to do your absolute best work, you know, then it's time, and time it out for yourself, practice, you know, and time where you need to be.
And 2.5 hours, it sounds joyful, and I always think, you know, I really enjoy the time in the competition ring because of that time, but it's a long time in the ring, so it's tiring.
It is it's tiring,
and that can take a mental and physical toll in you as well. It's not right, we can do this rest in 20 minutes and then I can have a break and sit down for 5 minutes, next dog. There isn't that. So it's a very, very different way of grooming.
I think make sure you stay hydrated. That's really important. Really important. You know, I'm going all woo on you now, aren't I? It's so important though, when you, like you said, you know, you're in the ring for a long time, you know, and if you're taking the judging as well, you can be there for, you know, up to 4 hours sometimes, you know, so it's a long time to be stood in the ring or whatever. So make sure that you know.
I always like to make friends with all the people around me as well.
Absolutely, yeah, that's.
I've had my best moments in the grooming competition ring.
Yeah, just have a little chat,
having a little gas, having a dance. I'm always dancing.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. So, but I don't like to work in silence. I like some music on. Yeah.
Or a podcast, or something that takes your brain away from stress.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can chill out a bit.
Speaking of podcasts, of course, this will be on YouTube and on Spotify. So any groomers out there that like to listen to a podcast, we are now on Spotify, and it's called Groomer Chat.
Yay! Are you going to keep this going then?
Yeah.
After
It's a bit of fun as long as technology works.
Yeah.
Fun, and I'm finding the whole experiment really, really interesting. I'm learning things. Because I'd never used TikTok before.
No.
Yeah, I think he's still it's a young person's thing.
It's all the youths.
Actually, really good. I've lost hours of my life to TikTok.
Yeah.
We've got, I forget how many. Have a look how many followers we've got now. It's a little brief snippet because it's been going for 2 weeks. We've got it's grown 511 followers on TikTok in 2 weeks.
Well, I'm going to follow you now. I haven't followed you.
And the video we put up this morning has had 8,921 views.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So is that just under English Groomers?
No, Britannia Pets.
Oh, you're on Britannia Pets.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to look you up now.
Cool, today's one's really blown up. I hadn't noticed that.
Britannia Pets, right, I'm going to follow you now on TikTok.
Britannia Pets is a picture of me and Amber.
It is. There it is. I'm going to follow you now. There you go. You've got another
marvellous. So we'll have 512.
512. Yeah. What did you do today?
How to clip dogs' nails.
Oh yeah, got that there. Yeah. I don't use TikTok. I have to say, I have done a lot more, and I do try. But when you really, you know, this is another thing with your grooming business, isn't it? It's you could do with a blooming social media person. Never mind anything else. Is that
well, that's all part of PR and advertising.
I know. But you could do with a separate person to run it, because it's so hard work.
It can be very time consuming to do it properly.
You know, the grooming industry lives on Facebook, basically. It does branch out a little bit, doesn't it, into Instagram.
Well,
Yeah,
it was on Facebook, and I'd say the majority of it is still on Facebook, but it's shifting.
It is.
It is shifting, and platforms like TikTok and Twitter.
Yeah.
I'd say not so much Twitter, but TikTok definitely is the fastest growing.
Yeah, TikTok definitely is. Yeah. And Instagram, I like Instagram. I find
Instagram boring.
No, I like Instagram. I think I like it because you don't get all the catfighting and all the opinions.
That's because you can't really talk.
No.
And I like a good natter.
Yeah. But Facebook can get a bit vile at times, can't it? Facebook can be. Yeah. So yeah.
But there's always the block button.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really use Twitter much. So I do have an account, but I don't really use it. And LinkedIn, that's another one, but I don't really. LinkedIn's quite corporate.
It is. I don't think LinkedIn's really the place for sourcing clients.
No, it's not. No.
And really, this is the whole point of advertising and media.
Absolutely.
Is about bringing in business.
Yeah. I mean, I know when I post on Look North Grooming's page, we get so much interaction from it, and I just think that I really need to do this more frequently.
Really, ideally daily.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I try and sort of keep up to it when I can. But it's when you're doing that many other shuffling of jobs and everything, it's hard work. But yeah, you get there.
Jo, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And to all of our viewers and listeners, if you're watching this on YouTube, then don't forget we also have this available on podcast on Spotify. And if you're listening to this on Spotify and you're wondering what Jo looks like, have a look at YouTube. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.